Well, we've been negotiating with Canada Post for about 8 months now to get a new collective agreement. Our collective agreement expired on January 31st of this year. We've been back and forth at the bargaining table until recently. We have some major issues that we're looking for from the union side, and Canada Post is also trying to do a huge amount of rollbacks and asking for concessions. Basically, we are looking for status quo in our contract, but Canada Post has come back and said we want to do two-tiered wage systems for the new hires, two-tiered benefits, two-tiered vacation, two-tiered pensions as well. And they've also come back and said they want to change the sick leave program we've had and basically cut it into more than half of what we have right now. They want to take a lot away, and we also have the modern post coming in where the union is understanding that things are going to change. Our jobs are changing. That's just the way life is. Things change. So we're all fine with things changing, but we want to do it in a manner that's safe for our employees. But Canada Post, not so much. They've been rolling out these new processes for delivering the mail, new processes for sorting the mail and working the mail in the plants, and they haven't taken into account some health and safety measures. Injuries have increased 50% in the letter carriers where the new process is rolled out. They want us to carry a two-bundled system instead of having just one bundle of mail in our hand so that we have one hand free at all times. They want us to carry one bundle in our hand that's synchronous in the machines and also a bundle on our arms. Like magazines and small packets and stuff are not on steady on the arms, so they tend to shake and drop. And that also causes us to lose our balance. And we also have our arm frozen for the whole time we're out there delivering. It's the same with working inside. There's a lot of high-speed equipment that's come in now, and they've changed the levels and the heights of it, so it's made it more difficult for people to operate. And they've also sped it up a bit too. So they have people getting injured on that, and the number of people are being injured are increased so that they can't rotate through lighter duty positions because the people that are injured are doing the lighter duty positions. So, and again, it just keeps increasing and going exponentially for the injuries. We want to get something into our contract that gives us more power and more safety. We want to get tighter language around rotation of duties. We want to get tighter language on how we deliver our mail. We want to get tighter language on just safety aspects in general so that we have these protections, because Canada Post is just rolling these out. They say we'll consult, but they don't follow through, and there's really no onus on them to follow through. First issue was caused by stalemate at the negotiating tables. On June 3rd, the union started rotating strikes throughout Canada. The union decided to do rotating strikes so that it wouldn't impact the customers as much. The mail still moved. It was very slow, but it still moved. As soon as we served the rotating strike notice, Canada Post took away our collective agreement. They started putting us under the labor code. They cut full-time hours down to 24 hours a week from 40. They cut part-time hours down to 13. They ignored all seniority rules, and they also cut our benefits. They withdrew all benefits. So we have members that are on long-term sick. They were no longer getting paid. We have members that are very ill and needing expensive medications. They no longer had coverage. So by people phoning in and complaining, luckily, we were able to get some coverage, medical coverage, back for some of our members. Canadian Union of Postal Workers has offered time and time again to suspend the rotating strikes with Canada Post if Canada Post is willing to come back to the bargaining table, bargain in good faith, and reinstate our collective agreement that has expired, just so that members have protection of a collective agreement while we're waiting for one to be negotiated. And then on June 13th, Canada Post locked us all out. I believe it's in retaliation for our rotating strikes. June 14th was the first day that Canada Post had decided to lock the letter carriers out in a 3-day delivery scheme. So on June 14th, the Labour Minister said, well, you know, the mail's still moving, it's moving slowly, but it's still going. So there's no reason to get involved with any sort of legislation. Well, by that evening, Canada Post had decided, that's it, we're locking it all down, mail's not moving anywhere. And guess what? Now we are in legislation with back-to-work legislation in Parliament. Ever since the legislation went down for back-to-work legislation, Canada Post has not bargained at all with the union. It's waiting for Mr. Harper and his people in Ottawa to go ahead and pass this back-to-work legislation, which is draconian because it's the wage increase is less than what the Canada Post had originally offered us. It's an either-or, where we either have to pick, the arbitrator will pick either the union's collective agreement or Canada Post collective agreement, and it's set up to fail in that they have the mandate for the arbitrator is that it's to err on the side of Canada Post. We've said time and time again, we will gladly go back to work. We want to serve the public, we want to serve the customers. Canada Post can remove the lockout, just put our collective agreement back in place so we have some protection for our members, and we're back in there.